Hi, for my video prompt, I chose to do the stoichiometry prompt. So it says that you are given 4.20 grams of calcium and 2.80 grams of oxygen to react, forming calcium oxide. In your answer, you should complete the following. And so for number 1, where you write a complete balanced equation for this reaction, calcium has a +2 charge while oxygen has a -2 charge. So they both cancel each other out, but since oxygen has that 2, you have to put that as a coefficient in front of calcium, which would give you 2CaO. And then for number 2, determine the limiting reactant of this reaction. The first thing you have to do is find the molar mass of both. So for calcium, that would be 40.08 grams a mole. And then for oxygen, that would be 32.00 grams a mole. But since there's 2, you have to do 16.0 times 2, which is where you get that 32. And then the second step in that is to find the moles for calcium. So I set it up by taking the given 4.20 grams of calcium and multiplying that by 1 mole of calcium over that molar mass of 40.08 grams, and then multiplying that by 2 moles of calcium oxide over 2 moles of just calcium, which gives you 0.105 moles of calcium oxide, which I attached a photo of the calculator up there. Because my starting amount of 4.20 has 3 sig figs, I rounded my final answer to have 3 sig figs of 0.105 moles of calcium oxide. And then for the next step, I took that starting amount given, which was 2.80 grams of oxygen, and then I multiplied that by 1 mole and divided that by the molar mass of 32 grams. And then I multiplied that by 2 moles of calcium oxide over 1 mole of oxygen. And then once again, I rounded my sig figs to 3 significant figures. So I got for the moles of oxygen was 0.175 moles of calcium oxide. And that purple arrow was pointing up from what I put into my calculator. And then because this amount is bigger than the amount I had when I did it through the calculations through calcium, that amount is going to be the limiting reactant, that amount of 0.105 moles of calcium oxide. And then for number 3, where I'm asked to find the theoretical yield, first I found the molar mass of calcium oxide by taking 40.08 and adding it with 16, which gave me 56.08 grams a mole. And then I took the unrounded amount I got on my calculator for the finding moles of calcium in the top right corner, and that would be 0.1048 moles of calcium oxide, and I multiplied that by 56.08 grams of calcium oxide, which is that molar mass, and then I divided that by 1 mole of calcium oxide, and that left me with 5.88 grams of calcium oxide. So my theoretical yield is 5.88 grams of calcium oxide. Thanks for watching.